Okay, for those of you that are here, we're going to wait just a second to allow just a few more students to come in. And so if you'll give us just a few seconds, we'll get started with our Ask Me Anything. Well, everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us with our Ask Me Anything. For our future students and our families, we're super excited to be having this event tonight, and we thank you for joining us. Tonight, we're going to hear from our health careers area and our pharmacy tech instructors. And we just want everybody to kind of understand the format. It's going to last about 30 minutes. We want to respect your time and make sure that that you can do things with your family and things like that. But we also want to make sure that we get any questions answered that you might have. And so if you have any questions, we encourage you to put those into the Q&A area, and we will get those questions answered to you. We want to make sure that we hear from you. And so you know, we would love if you would get those questions in there. We do have a few questions that have been submitted prior to our event today, and so we're going to be answering some of those as well. At Meridian, we've set up a 360 tour, and so if you visit the meridiantech.edu page, or meridiantech.edu/visit page, I'm sorry, that is where you will see our 360 tour, as well as some other information about just our enrollment process and just getting to know Meridian Technology and what we have to offer a little bit better. And in the chat box, I've just submitted some links there that will help you to go through our website and find information about just general application and enrollment process. Tonight, we're going to hear from Mr. Doug Jones and Mrs. Heather Black. And so I'm going to give them just an opportunity to introduce themselves and tell just a little bit about their programs and what they do. And then we'll move into the question and answer time. So Mr. Jones, I'll let you introduce yourself first.
Hey, thank you. Excuse me. My name is Mr. Doug Jones. I've been in healthcare for 23 years. I started off my healthcare journey with the United States Air Force, and I'm one of four. There's 4 health careers instructors, and I teach the phlebotomy portion of the health careers program here at Meridian Tech.
Okay, Miss Black.
Hello, my name's Heather Black, and I'm the instructor for the Advanced Pharmacy Technician program here at Meridian. This is my 11th year teaching here at Meridian, and prior to that, I worked 16 years as a pharmacy technician. So I feel like I've got a couple years of experience in this area. My program is open to high school seniors and adults.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I know that that we've gotten a few questions submitted prior to this event tonight, and so I'm gonna shoot those your way, and then if we have any other questions come in, we'll get those answered as well. So the very first one comes from Jody, and it says, "Will this prepare me, or will this program prepare me for radiology?" She's wanting to be a radiologist. Mr. Jones?
Hey. Yeah, thank you for your question, Jody. We actually, courtesy of Miss Black, we reached out to the person who is in charge of the Rad Tech program, Miss Tanya Vaso, and this is what she had to say. I'm going to read her statement about that question. Graduates from both health careers and pharmacy tech have successfully completed the radiology program. Both offer the 2 prerequisites, terms and anatomy and physiology, as well as CPR. From my personal experience, the pharmacy students excelled in communication and health career students excelled in clinical patient care. And she wanted me to also say that the benefits of the prerequisites and the healthcare experience are monumental and definitely have helped former students who have been a part of health careers and pharmacy tech who transition very seamlessly into the Rad Tech program.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We have another question. This one comes from Alexis. And Alexis asks, I'm interested in going on to being either a physical therapist or working as a dermatologist. What areas, as far as classes, would be the best fit for Alexis? Ms. Black, do you have any suggestions on that?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm assuming she means in her high school setting as well as here at Meridian. I think any healthcare experience she could get. So either enrolling in health careers, the pharmacy tech, or maybe even possibly the biomed program is all going to give her some background in the health careers field that she could take for any of those that she chooses down the road. Most all of them are going to have the medical terminology, the anatomy, and some math that are all going to be very useful in the future. As for her high school courses, I would say she definitely needs to continue with the math and science courses all the way through high school. Take as much as she can because she'll have more of those in the future.
And to piggyback on what Ms. Black said, if you are in health careers, it's called Health Careers 1. It's your first year in the program. Miss Michelle Mills teaches anatomy and physiology and medical terminology, and her course actually counts for high school science credit.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Thank you, guys. So another kind of just a general question that we get from lots of students that are interested in our health area is, what do they have to wear each day? Do they have to wear scrubs? What's kind of the what's the dress code for these two programs?
For health careers, it's dark navy blue scrubs are mandatory. Now, each instructor, including myself, the four of us, we have little things that we tweak a little bit. Like policy for my classroom is once you finish your puncture requirements, your phlebotomy requirements, you can transition back to wearing casual clothing. But like I said, each instructor is different. But overall, the overall policy is that in health careers, it's dark navy blue scrubs every day.
Dark navy blue scrubs. Okay, awesome. Ms. Black, how about for pharmacy technician?
Scrubs are not mandatory in my program. They are perfectly acceptable to wear. I do have my students, the 1 day a week will dress in professional dress. So 1 day a week, we're going to wear slacks or a skirt or a dress. And we're just working on starting to build our professional wardrobe. So we're prepared for job interviews and the job once we finish up at Meridian.
Okay. Are there any supplies that are required that students have to purchase to be in either one of your programs? Ms. Black, are there any supplies that students would have to purchase?
There are a few supplies. Meridian already provides the textbooks that students will need. So that is one thing they don't have to worry about purchasing, but they will need to purchase their pens and paper and a couple of binders, index cards, so they can help study their top 200 drugs they'll be learning in this class.
Okay. All right.
And in health careers, it's the same supplies. You need your basic school supplies. I know for my program, there's nothing too specific, but I know for my part, Mrs. Bollay, who teaches the other half of our course, she does require a watch with a second hand or some way to count the seconds when you're taking vital signs.
Sure.
Some students have bought their own stethoscopes when they go out to the clinical sites, obviously in a non-COVID world, but it's not required. You don't have to buy a stethoscope. Some students opt to.
Okay. All right. Another question that sometimes some parents will ask is what certifications will their child receive by going through your program? Mr. Jones, what certifications will they receive by going through the Health Careers program?
Well, our program it's a 2-year program. You do Health Careers 1 and Health Careers 2, and then there's an adult program, Health Careers 3, but we won't get into that too deep. But for the 4, it's basically 4 semesters you spend here. You spend in Health Careers 1 and 2, and the certifications you can leave with, you get the high school science credit from anatomy and physiology, from Mrs. Bateson, who teaches one of the nursing certified nursing programs. You could get your certified nursing certificate. You get your MAT, your medication administration technician certificate. And then when you come back in the second year from my class, you can get your certified phlebotomy tech, and from Miss Bolle, you could get your certified medical assisting certification. And just to add to that, those are not required for completion or graduation from Meridian Tech. Those are all optional, but very, very highly encouraged to take and get and leave with those certifications.
Okay. All right, great. Ms. Black, are there certifications that your students will leave with when they graduate from your program?
Yes. In my program as well in health careers, the students will also get their BLS or their healthcare provider CPR and first aid. That's the only main certification they get while in my program. They'll have a few little others. They'll HIPAA certificate of training. They'll have a diabetes injection certification, just some added things to go with it. But then once they complete the program, they will be eligible to take the National Pharmacy Technician certification.
Okay, great.
And I too highly encourage that students go ahead and get that certification.
Okay. All right. Just some more general questions about your programs. What types of hands-on projects do your students work on in your program? Like, what is a typical day like for Mr. Jones in your class?
Well, as you can see over my shoulder, that is a simulated fake arm, and that's what my students begin on. They begin learning the basics and the fundamentals and the mechanics of performing a blood draw on the mannequin arm to start with. Of course, lecture and homework is all interwoven into each day. And then when the confidence level is there and I can see that the students are getting comfortable doing things safely and efficiently with the mannequin arms, we transition to actual human arms where the students begin drawing on each other. And as due to COVID, what we have had to transition to do, instead of them going to clinical and getting the required amount of sticks, quote unquote, they a lot of other students, staff, and faculty come down and volunteer their veins for the students to draw on. And last semester, it was a tremendous success, and all 16 students who were enrolled last semester completed their venipuncture requirements.
Okay, awesome. Ms. Black, what kind of projects do your students work on? What are the hands-on things that they get to do in your program?
Well, day one, when my students walk into my program, they apply to be a pharmacy technician. So for day one, I look at this as their job. It's not just school or class, that it's a job and these are their coworkers. And so we try and set that mindset right from the beginning. We do lots of employability skill training right off the bat. I don't have all of my students learning the exact same thing. We are not a lockstep program. So there's sometimes a lot of different things going on. So there will be some time for students to do independent learning. They're going to be learning on their own, responsible for meeting their deadlines, which I think is a good transition from high school to college. And once they're here, we do a lot of retail pharmacy labs. So we will work in the retail pharmacy. We will practice gathering patient information and then filling prescriptions, counting out the medications, labeling the bottles. We also will in turn practice being the customer for the other students so that they can also practice their employability skills. We also will go into our compounding lab and we will practice both sterile and non-sterile compounding. Non-sterile would be like your ointments and your creams and your liquids. Sterile compounding would be more like IV bags and chemotherapy medications. So we do a variety of different compounding techniques.
Awesome, that's great.
And I did want to add, it's not just phlebotomy in the other 3 semesters that you take. I know anatomy, physiology, they do a lot of little projects and little models of like cells and different body parts. I believe they're still doing dissection. And I know in nursing, in the nursing classes, I know we have a simulated ward, an inpatient ward, where students give each other bed baths, clothed. They are clothed. Everything is, appropriate for school. And in the other class, they do like a lot of vital signs and outpatient intake, patient notes, medication administration, injections. They cover a lot in a lot of simulated scenarios. And I know what I try to do in my class is I try to give them scenarios that are based in my experience and in things that actually happen in industry.
Yeah, a lot of patient care in some of
Yes.
the other classes as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, one additional question for you guys, and I know that with us being a technology center, we have the opportunity to do some pretty neat things outside of the classroom, especially when it comes to like leadership activities and opportunities. And one of the things that the students can get involved in is called a Career Tech Student Organization, or a CTSO. For both of your programs, do you all have a CTSO? And then if you do, what types of competitions and leadership activities can you do through those student organizations? Mr. Jones, can you lead us off on that one?
Yeah, I'm actually our CTSO is actually called HOSA. And I'm actually the lead advisor this year. And we do have competitions both in the fall and in the spring. And that's where students can compete in a variety of healthcare competitions, anywhere from writing to actually performing skills to hand washing. I got to judge a competition for hand washing. I know it sounds like, how can you mess that up? But there's actually steps and procedures to follow. And it's actually a lot of fun. And, it's a competition. It starts at the local level, state, national, and finally, I believe, and Ms. Black can correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's even an international competition, but don't quote me on that. But I know Ms. Black's been doing host a lot longer than I have.
Okay. Ms. Black, do you have some information for us on that?
Sure. HOSA is a great way for students to showcase the skills and talents they're learning while at Meridian Tech. So, and there's something for everybody. So it could be something as a knowledge test. So you're basically just taking a written test over what you've been learning here in school and a variety of topics you can choose. There's skilled events where you would demonstrate a skill like the hand washing that Mr. Jones mentioned. CPR, there's a variety of nurse assisting skills, pharmacy science. There's also team events. And there's also different leadership skills to their individual that could be like resume writing, extemporaneous posters, essays, those sorts of things. So I think there's something for everybody, a way to showcase your talent. And it's a great way to network and meet new people. And it sure looks great on your resume once you complete this program, say you were able to compete at the state level.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, Ms. Black. All right. So last question here for the evening. Can you tell me, what do you love about Meridian Technology Center? Like, what's the thing that you just love the most? Ms. Black, can you start us off there?
Yeah, I just really love the relationships that the students make. Lots of times a student will come in, they've had their same friends since they started kindergarten, but over time they've kind of grown in different areas of interest. When students come here, they meet a whole new group of kids from 9 other sending schools that have the same interests to them. And just the relationships they build. I've had numerous students over the years end up being college roommates and lifelong friends because they just really bond with things they have in common. And just watching the students grow and succeed is just very rewarding.
Awesome. Mr. Jones, do you have anything to add to that? What do you love about Meridian Technology Center?
I'm kind of goofy when it comes to that because I've wanted to be a teacher since I was a sophomore in high school, but I went the way of the U.S. military and I got into healthcare. So I figured, what better way to combine the two? And I always tell my students day one when I get a new batch, I go, this is not work for me here. I've never felt in the 3 years I've been here that this is work. This is something I'm passionate about. What I love seeing is the students succeeding. They come in and they hear, you got to stick each other's veins, and they're freaked out from day one. But by the end, they're doing it better than me sometimes by the end. And one of the most rewarding things was recently I had to seek treatment in an emergency room. And I kid you not, I think I lost count after about 6, watching them all run around. There were 6 former students that I either indirectly or directly taught during my short tenure here. And it was just amazing to see them flourishing in the industry and taking the things that we taught them and just executing them flawlessly out in the industry and really representing it. It shows for me, it kind of shows everything coming full circle. And it's just a really proud moment as an instructor. And I kind of, it's silly, I know, but I kind of feel like their dad. I feel the proud dad when I see them out and about doing things that I taught them and had something to do with. It's very rewarding for me.
Yeah, that's great. All right. Well, to both of you, thank you very much for spending the evening with us and just telling us a little bit about both your programs. And we just want to thank you for your time. Also, students, thank you for joining in with us. If you have additional questions, feel free to jump onto that Ask Me Anything page. So that would be meridiantech.edu/visit, and then you can get to the Ask Me Anything page and add additional questions there, and we'll make sure that we get those questions to our instructors, and we can get those answered for you. Also, we want to make sure that on January the 26th that you join us for our future student and parent virtual open house. And so there'll be some more information on that visit page as well. And so we would invite you to come to that. You should have received in the mail just this past week a guide to tech and a yellow application for enrollment at Meridian Technology Center. If you're interested in enrolling at Meridian, we encourage you to fill out that application and then turn that application into your counselors at your high school. At that point, Meridian staff will work with your counselors. We'll set up a time and a date to come to your campus, and we will set up an interview with you and just sit down and talk to you one-on-one about why are you interested in this program? What are your career aspirations? How can we help you to reach those aspirations? And so that's kind of our process. That will happen sometime in the middle of February. And then we typically have our acceptance letters sent out sometime at the end of March, first part of April is when you will officially know if you've been accepted to Meridian Technology Center. So if you have any questions, we encourage you to make contact with us. You can do that on the visit page, meridiantech.edu/visit, or you can give us a call at 405-377-3333. We thank you so much for your time this evening. We hope that we answered your questions. We wanted to just, we're super excited to have you all as future students at Meridian Technology Center, and we hope that you have a great evening. Thank you.